All right, welcome everybody. It is 9:02, so we're getting a little bit of a late start here. It's Tuesday, September 18th, and you're joining us for our Zoom affiliate training. And today, Lindsay and I are going to be talking about stories, particularly your story. Okay, push this up. I'll get out of here in a second. I think the first part of this for me is, the story is really important. Uh, Obviously, because it's your story is what's going to create the human connection with people that you're talking with. What's interesting though, and I fell prey to this a lot, and sometimes I still do because I forget. But so this training will be a great reminder for me, because when you're telling your story, it's not your success story. Okay, it's it's more about your challenges that you've faced and that you've had to work through to be able to create the success that you've created. And if you haven't had the success that you want to have, that's okay, because then it becomes a story of your challenges and what you did in order to, get to the point where you're starting to work on your success. A lot of people get wrapped up in the idea that they feel like they have to be the most successful person to be able to share their story with people. But one of the things that I always did and really screwed up with was I would always go into immediately the success and why I was successful and this and that. And what I failed to connect with people on is the struggles that I had, because for years I struggled at network marketing. I was terrible at it. I didn't have the personality for it because I wasn't open to sharing where I was. I wasn't open to being vulnerable. I wasn't open to just being like really honest about what I was working through. And later on in my years, I learned that that was part of the human connection that everybody's looking for, is to go, oh, I can relate with that person, or I can relate with that challenge. And so you've got to work that in, because there's not one person out there, not one person on this planet that has not faced some type of a challenge in their life that has driven them to the point where they want to create success and they want to do something different and they want to be somebody who is better and have that purpose driven life that comes from the challenges. If your life was not didn't include any type of challenges, you wouldn't be driven to be better, to do something different with your life, to travel, to share your story with people. So by being really clear that the way that you connect with people and you share your story with people is by telling them your struggles and just being really honest with people. I think the more honest you are, the more real your story becomes, and the more that people can identify with that idea. And people always ask me, well, what about what do I need to talk about most, right? What challenges do I need to talk about? I've got so many, right? And the one that you're the most scared to talk about is the thing that you need to talk about the most. That's the key, because that will give you that vulnerability and that ability to really connect with people at a deep level, because they'll see your sincerity, they'll see your honesty, and they will understand exactly what you had to do to work through your issues, to work through your challenges, to create your life and the success that you have in it. And so everybody can pull from that. Everybody can create from that idea. So, I mean, it's a really simple concept. Your story can be, I always like to break down different things. Like when you're talking about an opportunity presentation, you want to break down into like 3 different categories. The first one is like you've got your 90-second elevator pitch, which is when you have a really quick moment, like somebody says, hey, well, what's your story, right? You have a 90-second version that you can tell somebody. And then you've got the next version is about 3 to 5 minutes, where you're really connecting with somebody or you're connecting with an audience, and you want to tell them your story from the standpoint of a little bit more detail, go into a little bit more depth about what it is that you struggle with and what you were able to overcome and how you were able to overcome it. And then the larger version of that is like a 15, 20-minute version of it, to where if you're giving a presentation or you're doing a keynote or you're doing like a big meeting where you're doing a training, then you can really get into the details of your story. So your story is something that you have to work on. You've got to come from that place and kind of go walk through it, because what's really cool about working on your story is that um, what happens is it's kind of twofold. It's not only going to center you in what your purpose is and what your life has been about, but it's also going to serve you in a way that allows you to recognize that the accomplishments that you've made, the challenges that you overcome are really, really powerful for you, and that you need to recognize your willingness and your ability to overcome those challenges to become the person that you've become. And that's the pat on the back. That's the key to telling a really great story is recognizing, you know what? I did this. I made these changes. I put in the work. I made the changes in my life, and I created everything that I wanted to create. And now I'm wanting to create more and serve more. And so that's where you've got to get your story from. And I'd love to be able to, if you want to have, me work with you one-on-one or in a small group setting to work on your story, then what we can do is we can practice it, and we can kind of go through it, and we can kind of help people identify what they need to pull from their experiences and pull from their challenges and how they can put it together. But I want to turn it over to Lindsay for a reason, because earlier today, I think she was sharing, I don't know where it was. I don't know what it was on. I think it might have been the Zoom call live tonight or this morning. But she's got a 4-part process to putting the story together. And I think it's key because it will give you the outline that you need to follow to be able to create your story in a way that will allow you to just own it. And when you can own your story and you can tell the story from a place of vulnerability and just sharing with people your open heart and just kind of sharing with them the struggles that you've been through, people will connect with you, and people will just completely surrender to the idea that, yeah, they can go through this too. They can go through their challenges, and they can become better people, and they can, find that hope, which is what we're all out there serving other people with, is that, helping others prosper eternally. And one of the first ways that you can do that is by really knowing what your story is. So Lindsay, do you want to share with them the 4-part series of the story process?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you so much. The story is just so important. Like Calvenn was saying, I think that's where I really saw the biggest jump for me with personal development and with growing a business. And it's just sometimes knowing what you want isn't enough. You have to, I'm sure you've all heard me say, love people where they're at. Well, same goes for you. You have to love yourself where you're at, but still know what it is that you want to achieve and where you want to go. So the 4 elements to creating your story or writing your story so that you can share with authenticity and confidence with everybody around you what it is that we have here, what we're doing. That's why we share it, because we know what it can do for people. The first element is your background, a little bit about your background. So a little bit about my background I share with people. I've been in the restaurant industry for way over 10 years. Try not to date myself or age myself, especially now with using the time list. So I won't have to reveal anything. But yeah, a little bit about your background. So I've been working in the restaurant industry for over 10 years, and it worked well with my lifestyle for a while. It was flexible, great income. But then I started a family, and I didn't like being gone every evening and on weekends and holidays. And so I needed something to shift, but I needed also to bring in an income, and I didn't have a college education. So, my jobs were limited. And so when I found this opportunity in networking, I was like, wow, I can make money and still be present with my family. And so that's a little bit about my background that then kind of led me into the problem that I was having. So that's number 2. Number 2 is, what problem were you having, or what was something that you wanted to change about your life? And so I was able to make those changes, by still building an income while working from home or working from anywhere. I'm sure we all know that you can pretty much work from anywhere nowadays. And so then that takes me into number 3, like how this opportunity was my solution. And then the fourth element, what are you looking forward to most? You can also change that down the road to your biggest achievement or how this has, really changed the game for you, how this has added value to your life, things like that. But because we are such a new company, a lot of us are still in that blossoming stage. Just be excited about where you're going to take this and how much better your life is going to be because of this opportunity. And I see Calvenn writing back there. Great handwriting.
Thank you. So just really quick. So the first part is your background. It doesn't matter what you've done. Everybody's got a background. And then what problem you had or what change did you want to make is number 2. Number 3 is how this opportunity was my solution. So you kind of go into why you decided to do what you're doing right now. And then 4 is what are you looking to achieve or what is your greatest success thus far? And when you share those with people, like Lindsay was saying, it's part of the process. It'll flow naturally, and people will, really grasp the idea of what it is that you were able to accomplish by doing what you do. And then, they'll also be able to understand exactly, they can, when you tell a story and you tell it really well, after you've probably done it 10, 15, 20, 30 times, and then people begin to identify. I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but when you're watching a movie or you're listening to somebody speak and they're telling you the story, you're watching the story on the screen, a lot of times we get lost in it. And that's why, so many people become addicted to, listening to things or watching movies or getting lost in the fantasy of it, because it's so easy for us to put ourselves in that position. There's a whole study on why superhero movies are so powerful and so popular, because people want to believe that they have the ability to overcome the same challenges that a superhero does to become who they are. And so everybody's looking for that. And so your story really is about what makes you a superhero. And you may laugh and you go, I'm not a superhero, but you know what? There are people in your life, like your kids, your family, that look up to you because of what you're able to do and what you're able to provide for them. And so you are setting an example. You are living in a way that other people are watching and noticing. And because of who you became, it will kind of pave the path for people in your life to be able to, want to be more. The reason that, when I was growing up, my father did really well, middle class, and kind of paved this road for his kids. And the beautiful part about it is that all of his kids have gone out and created success in their own ways. And it's because of the story that was being told and how my father did it. And, with the mixed family or blended family with, stepchildren and all this kind of stuff. And we all came together as one family. When I was growing up, people didn't know my parents were divorced. They didn't know that I had stepmother. They didn't know that I had stepbrother and sister, because the way that we were raised, we were just a family. And it's funny because, people to this day sometimes don't realize that my brother that I play around with on Facebook and then sometimes pops up on my lives and makes fun of me is my stepbrother. But we consider each other brothers. It's part of our story about who we are. And so when you're out there and you're sharing this story with people, people will buy into it. And they'll buy into you, not because they're buying into you, but because they're buying into the idea of the story that you've been able to create something for yourself. And that's what everybody wants. That's why we're hope brokers. And so if you're not sharing your story in this way about the problems and the challenges that you've had, you're not likely going to connect with people on a deep level. And in network marketing, in order to create success, you've got to connect with people on a deep level. And the only way that you can do that is to kind of peel back the layers and let people see you for who you really are, and the mistakes that you've made and the challenges that you faced and how and why you've overcome them. So it's a great way to kind of, really jumpstart your business and start to create something with a solid foundation by learning to develop your story and create it from that sense of it's a place of service. When you're telling your story to people, you're serving them, because you're going to connect with somebody that's going to see something in you and your challenges, and they're going to go, you know what, I'm going to do that for me. And then their life changes. And I've seen it over and over and over again. I've worked with 10,000s of people and been out there, and I know that everybody influences, persuades, and inspires everybody that they work with. So craft your story, learn it, understand it, be proud of the challenges that you've gone through. There's not one person on the planet that hasn't struggled and achieved success the way that they've achieved success. Nobody just walks in and has everything. Everybody's got to go through that challenge. So don't lose sight of that, because those challenges make you who you are. So anybody have any questions or comments?
Or would anybody like to share their story with us?
Ooh, step it up. It's so funny because Alexis is Jackie Taft. I don't know why she changed her name, but
I just realized that.
I'll change it for you. Hold on.
Well, no, don't change it. This is Jackie Taft's count. Don't do that.
Oh, okay.
You logged in on her Zoom?
I used it for Tuesday or last weekend.
Okay,
and I just never changed it.
That's okay. What, do you have any comments or questions, or you want to share your story, Alexis?
Okay. I'll be honest. I completely forgot. My mind got lost about the Tuesday training, and I jumped on. So I've had a couple glasses of wine. So I don't know if sharing my story will be the best. But
you know what? That's okay. You've been working your butt off today.
So I think I'll let somebody else go, and I'll share mine next time.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man.
Nothing wrong with having a glass of wine, believe me.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's on the meal plan.
Yes, it is. Okay, I guess I'm not a bad girl then. No, but I see Joette's on here showing her face. I'm proud of her. She's about to hit VIP in like 5 minutes.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yes, Joette.
All right.
Who else is on here? All right. Well.
Anybody else?
Oh, Joette's muted.
Yeah, I don't know why you're muted, Joette. I don't know
unmute
if it's, well, it's not saying that she's muted. It just says she's not connected. So I don't know if, yeah.
Can you hit the audio? Is there a little audio button that you can hit?
Not on my end.
No, it's for her. I had this problem with somebody last week too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. If you're on your phone and you want to go to your right and click the more, and you should have a connect audio. It doesn't say connect audio for you.
That's okay.
That's okay.
All right. Anybody have any questions or anything? So this is the audience participation part.
Can you hear me now?
Joelle. Yes.
Oh,
yes, we hear you.
I don't know what I did, but anyway, my question was, I still can't get into the app. It says I don't have access.
Okay, so there's the system comes in two different places. You've got regular access, which is free, and then you have an upgraded version because it's got a lot of different reportings and stuff like that. The upgraded version is what's connected to the app on your iPhone. So you would need to upgrade in your back office on your laptop, and then you'd be able to go into your app on your iPhone or your Android. So that's how that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And great job, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So does anybody have a topic for next week that they would like to hear on or to learn on? So we'll have a moment of silence next week. I tell you what, silence is a good thing. It's very, very revealing. So what would you like, Alexis?
I don't know. I feel like everything that I've, struggled with, I just call you or Lindsay. And I guess
Other people might be struggling with it too. So,
Yeah.
So I guess I've been asking questions about the parties and trying to figure out how to do those and launch them with the pre-release. And I guess I know a lot of my team have problems with Facebook, but that's just, I think, I don't know. Lindsay, what do I call you about?
Well, you have a lot of great ideas when you call me, and I really like the fact that you call me. You don't call me out of insecurity. You call me more out of wanting just to kind of go through your thought process, which is really powerful. Because when you're doing something new, it's great to make mistakes. I mean, it's great just to go out there and make the mistakes. But what I like about when you call is that you're more looking towards the mentorship side of it, which is like, hey, I'm going to do this. What do you think? It's not, you're not sitting back just asking like, well, what should I do? It's kind of like, well, I'm going to do this. So what do you think? What do you think about the way I'm going to do it? And to me, that's part of the process too. I mean, all of you, when you're out there doing stuff, there's no reason to be shy. To call up and ask and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Because I'll give you my honest feedback. There's just certain things that everybody can do to create their own success. And you just got to find out what works for you. Like Alexis has no problem walking into a doctor's office and just chatting it up and seeing what she can do to find out if there's some type of a connection or a need to be able to help that office out by, soliciting products or, help or whatever it is. So, the more that you can put yourself out there, the more that you learn. The only reason I have the experience that I do is because after 20 years in network marketing, I pretty much have done it all. I've done everything. I mean, I've walked into offices, I've cold called people, I've traveled the world, I've gone to trade shows, I've done, flea markets, I've done swap shops, I've done everything you could possibly imagine to see what I could do to move my opportunity and my product. And, I found that a lot of those ways are great, but it's really just about connecting with people and developing relationships with people. Because when you can develop a relationship with people, there's a friendship, and we all love to do what our friends do. I mean, that's why we go out together. That's why we go drinking together. That's why we, go on vacations together. And so you've just got to find those friends that you can connect with that are, looking for an opportunity, looking to build a business, do something different with their lives. And so you've just got to put yourself in situations to be able to do that. Networking events, there's just all different types of places that you can go and network with people. Because it was funny, because today my son was asking me, he goes, Dad, do you have any friends around here? And I said, some, and he's like, well, where do adults meet friends? Because he understands, because, he's like, well, I meet my friends at school, but Dad, where do you meet people? I said, yeah, you, as an adult, you have to do something. You either meet them at work, because I work from home. So that's not going to help unless I just want to stare into the mirror. So it's about doing networking events. Like my wife, Christina, she's been networking quite a bit. She's been going to networking events. She goes to Toastmasters. she's been hanging out at the pool and just meeting people and meeting really great, like, quality people just by putting herself out there and networking. And there's never the intention of, okay, I'm going to go network to see what I can do to find something. It's more just of an honest type of networking where you're just meeting people. But the thing is that you have to put the effort forth. You can't go somewhere and sit in a corner and expect people to come up to you and for there to be a connection. People want to connect with people that are, positive, outgoing, friendly, that smile, that look you in the eye. Those are the types of things that people want to be involved with. So, Alexis does a great job, because I remember doing this as when I was younger. My son was only like, 3, 4, 5 years old. I would go to the park all the time. And I mean, every day I was at the park with my son, or we would go to a museum, or we would go to a place where he could interact with other kids, because it would put me in relationship with other parents. And so, now it's a little bit different. We don't really do that. So now I've got to put myself in that position of, a networking event, a Toastmasters, a business gathering, something to be able to create those relationships with people, or, it's not going to happen. And you've got to realize that if you're wanting to build a business and you're not willing to put yourself in a position where you're meeting new people, then you're probably not going to build a business. It's not going to happen, right? So it's funny how that works. But, it's just kind of like, you've got to put yourself in that position. And then, from there, once you start making a few friends, what's really cool is that when you come from a place of service and you're really wanting to see if you can kind of connect the dots for people and put them in touch with people, or refer them to people, or have people, refer them to other people, then it becomes a game and it's fun. And then there's not this pressure about what you need to do or what needs to be done. When you start making the connections with people, other people respond by doing the same for you. And, I don't know how many times I've had networkers refer other networkers to me because I'm willing to do it for them. When things happened last year around this time, I was first one, to talk to Lindsay and Aaron and say, if you guys need something, I know who to introduce you to, because I didn't have anything. But I was willing to say, hey, if you guys need to go somewhere and you need to go out and network with someone else, I've got some great friends that are great leaders in this industry, and I would be more than happy to make an introduction to you for you. And that's where you have to come from. If you're going to be successful, it's all about networking. It's all about helping other people, serving other people. So, Lindsay?
No, I mean, I think that you said it all. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you can't make any mistakes. Even if you give somebody the absolute wrong information, that can be corrected. So I think a lot of times we don't even present ourselves in certain situations because we have that fear. And I would just encourage you to embrace your courage instead of channeling that fear. So
good one.
Well, and I want to add something to that. I hear a lot of I know a lot of you guys that's on my team have told me that, I'm just not like you. I don't talk like you. I wasn't always like this. And I still, every time before I go do anything crazy or out of comfort, I always call Lindsay and I'm like, I need your encouragement. Please help. So, don't think that it's not just me. I still get nervous completely. And a lot of times I want to turn back around and just go back in my car. So you guys can all do it. Y'all can all rock it.
Yeah, no, that's funny, Alexis, because when I was first getting started in sales in West Texas, back when I was 24, maybe 23, I would drive hours to these gas plants in the middle of West Texas because they were so scattered, you would have to drive hours. And I don't know how many times I would pull up and I was going to make a cold call because you don't know who's working there because it's such a contained little city. And I would pull up and I would sit there for half an hour and then I'd drive away because I was too scared to go in. It's funny how your mind can get in there. And then when I finally got comfortable and I realized, you know what, I'm providing these people with a service, and it may not be for them, but I still have the right to be able to showcase what I have and what I believe in. I had a lot of fun, and I got some of the best clients because I was just willing to do whatever it takes. In fact, one of them was, I would go in and every single week, I would go in and call on this one person. He was the general plant manager. And I tried everything. I'd show up, I'd bring donuts, bring kolaches, those are little sausages wrapped in bread, and I would do everything. And after months of not getting anything, I just wrote him a letter. And I said, I've been calling on you and you've completely ignored me, and that's okay. I just want you to know, I know where you live and I will come and find you. And he called me after that. He goes, that was the funniest thing ever. He goes, so just come in next week and let's get together. And it turned out to be a really big account for me. But I was just willing to keep trying and trying and trying. I mean, most people try one time and they're like, okay, well, this person's not interested. You don't know that. They could be busy. They could be tied up. There's so many things that go on in somebody's day, just like something goes on in your day every day, that you can't take it personal. Even if you have a face-to-face and they go, no, I don't want this. Go, hey, it's totally fine. I get it. I'll just, pop in every once in a while, follow up, do whatever. Because I don't know if you've ever done this. I mean, I've never done it, but when I'm having troubles on my computer or technical issues with something, and my son walks in and he just wants to talk, I've shot him down. I've gotten upset. I've been irritated. I've been short. And it has nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with what I was in the moment of. And through my own awareness and growth, I've been able to, when he walks in, I just push away. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I'm involved in. I let it all go and I go, okay, what do you need right now? Because I know that if I can connect with him, then I can get right back to what I needed to do, because what I needed to do obviously wasn't meant to happen because it wasn't happening. And, take that same philosophy into when you're dealing with people. And I know it's tough, but don't take anything personal. There's too much out there that's available to all of us to take anything personal. There are 7.5 billion people on the planet. I don't even think they know how many people are on the planet anymore. And there are so many people out there that want and need our products and gonna love our skincare. Rachel, our customer service, our VP of operations, she just shared the product with one of her high school classmates who's on oxygen and has all these different things going on. And, her doctor said, yeah, you can take this product, because it actually gave her the energy to be able to function and not have to take 5 and 6 naps a day. And so she ordered the Unleashed because she was so excited that she felt good enough to be able to actually go do things. And those are the people that you're looking for. The people that see it, that feel it, that experience it. The people who don't, it's okay. I don't know how many products I've taken in my life that I don't feel. So what? There's always somebody else who's going to feel something with it. So just keep looking. Never stop looking. So, all right. Jackie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
We met your twin sister today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where at?
On Zoom, Jackie Taft, the second Jackie Taft.
Oh, the second Jackie Taft? Yeah.
Hey, Quinn.
Will the real Jackie Taft please stand up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I missed out earlier. What are the last 2 things on the board say? Because I was trying to write down.
Okay, so you've got the first 2. The third one is how this opportunity was my solution.
Okay.
And then the fourth one is what are you looking to achieve, or what is your greatest success so far? So that way you're not trapped. If you haven't achieved the ultimate success and you're telling people your story, a lot of people think, well, I can't share this with anybody because I haven't made any money. Hey, that's not about making the money. It's about being honest in your story and say, well, yeah, but this is what I'm looking forward to being able to do because of what I'm going to keep doing every single day. So this is Lindsay's 4-part process to really creating your story and, developing it so that you understand what it is, because you've got to connect with people.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I think that wraps it up for tonight. I'll get this uploaded and posted. So if you want to watch it again, I'm open. If you want to work on your story, you want to play around with it, I'm more than happy to work with you. I know Lindsay is too. And so, just reach out. Don't be shy. I mean, one of the reasons why, everybody is going to achieve, and I'll give it to Alexis here for really just pushing it, is because she's not afraid to call. Sometimes I'll get 5 and 6 calls from her in a day, and that's totally cool, not to mention the text messages. So, just if you want it bad enough, you're not going to care. You're not going to care how many times you have to call somebody every single day if you want it bad enough. So if you're not willing to call, if you're not willing to reach out, you probably don't want it that bad. Because the only way that you're going to get good is to overcome those fears. I mean, Alexis even called me up before her training call with Jackie and Ellie and was like, I want to tell you my training. And I was like, go for it, because that is like the biggest fear of all, is to train your peers, to talk to your peers or a mentor. Like, I remember when I worked for Tony Robbins and I would have to speak in front of him, it was numbing. I was just like, what the hell am I going to do? This guy is one of the best, amazing speakers on the planet, and I'm going to talk in front of him? So, that's what's going to make you bigger and stronger and help you reach more people. So.
I told you I was going to blow your phone up.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, it's good.
And don't forget Zoom tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern a.m.
What's that going to be on?
That's just for our affiliates.
Okay.
Every morning, 9:30 Zoom.
All right.
9:30 a.m.
Excellent.
That's just 15 minutes of a couple nuggets for you guys. Quite a few of you have messaged me with some things that you'd like me to go a little bit more in depth on. And also some things that maybe you've been challenged with, struggle with. And so I figure let's start the day together. For some of us, it'll be a little bit earlier than others, but I think 9:30 is a great time for us to just meet for a few minutes, and so I can share some helpful tips with you.
Awesome. All right.
There's a fly in my house, and it's driving me crazy.
The fly just wants to be a fly.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
It's okay. I'm locked in the bathroom because my daughter was naked right around the house and she kept popping up behind the camera. And she made it in here. Now she's in the sink.
Nice.
It was real.
All right, everybody.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Great rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh.